Hello, internet. Yeah, okay, we're recording. Cool. So yeah, we were not here last week, and for the internet, we probably weren't here for several weeks, and then you're about to get like 15 videos dumped on you. Sorry. Um, you guys had found yourselves kind of marooned in the underdark, uh, traveling through various dimly lit caves, fighting strange monsters, aberrations, beasts, demons, whatever they were. Um, Gross tentacly things, finding awesome treasures, many of which are still here in card format, which is super duper handy for me as your dungeon master. Look, there's your treasure. Yay. Hi, treasure. Um, and you had also encountered oh, there's Jen. Hello, Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Hey guys, sorry I'm a bit late.
That's okay. So was I.
No worries.
Yes, we were just catching up. I was just saying you guys have been traveling through the Underdark, and Uh, the last thing that you dealt with, after meeting a kind of sexy young elf named Adrian, who seemed to be kind of lost and had lost his party, and you guys had helped him find one of his lost party members that was dead. And there seems to be a bit of a strange mystery there with him being still young and able, and he's told you, that most of his companions are around his age. Whereas you had found a druid that was kind of older, looked kind of decrepit, and looked as though he had been dead for at least a couple of months. So the timelines didn't really fit together with what he had told you, but he seemed to recognize his belongings and things, and you all believe that he seems to be telling the truth about what happened to him. So seems more likely that there's some sort of temporal anomaly stuff going on, which you guys understand. You've been there. And lastly, you guys encountered a fairly large party of drow elves, all engaged in some sort of a dark ritual, summoning vile shadow demons. And with some of your trickery, you were able to kind of snipe and beat down some people, and get the better of these drow fairly easily for how difficult that probably should have been for you guys.
That's right, we had that little hidey hole window there.
Yep, you guys were sniping from up top, and confusion was reigning supreme as the drow spellcasters were targeted first and lost their concentration on summoning their demons and keeping control of them, and it sort of caused havoc amongst the drow. So when we left off, you guys had taken a long rest, so if you have not yet, please reset your character sheets to full health, full spell slots, etc. Uh, you guys are obviously, you have some downtime if you want it, or you guys can continue your march. Last that you knew, Reggie had informed you that though he could not get a good bead on the map, like the full area because it was too large, and the Phaserus was kind of interfering with his ability to magic through things. He did tell you there was an exit up here to the northwest and an exit up here to the north, um, from where you were, and that you were somewhere in this large kind of underground acreage here.
Sorry, that was me signing into my thing.
Oh, that's okay. So yeah, you guys are in a secure location right now. You've kind of got I assume that you had camped out inside of this little drow area or one of these side areas. And you had found quite a few treasures, and kind of ransacked the place after kicking everybody's ass. And so probably at night, or what passes for your evening anyway, in the Underdark here, Adrian would have filled you in a little bit more on the details of his caravan. He would tell you that they were a trade caravan that was sent from the farthest east reaches of Toril, uh, somewhere's kind of near where Grimwood is, but south of there, like that same coast, but and whatever elven city that he mentions, Arianth, you would recognize the name kind of, but maybe not know exactly where it is. You just know that it's like far south of you, and you would recognize it for being someplace that had various trade caravans that had come through your area probably, and you kind of recognize some of the customs, and this reinforces the belief that this guy's telling the truth. Like he's not putting one over on you. He seems very forlorn at the loss of his friend, and he has pledged himself in your service. So at this point, if you guys look up, you don't have to right now, but knight, like silly English Knigget, for fifth edition, any of the standard stat blocks, it should come up in the SRD, so you should be able to find it online pretty easy, or in the monster manual, I believe, which is shared on our D&D Beyond account. Plug, plug, plug. Come on, D&D Direct. I need a sponsorship. Um, so you guys should be able to see his stats. He's got some pretty, straightforward stuff. He's basically a melee fighter. Um, so he will literally follow your kind of basic commands. Obviously, not trying to commit suicide for you guys, but he seems pretty into you. He thinks after seeing you guys kick a bunch of drow ass that he could learn a thing or two. Uh, so is there anything you guys would like to question him about, or was there anything you guys wanted to do for your downtime? Let's go right around in order. Let's start with Tohan.
I wanted to break up the treasure a little bit here. Just while we got all that stuff out. So we got a +3, and I'm not even looking at just like the stuff that's worth like a bunch of money here, but like +3 shield. Maggie, are you taking that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Nice.
Who used the shield, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Then we got a figurine of wondrous power, the Obsidian Steed. I'm not sure who wants that. I know Erin's got a broom, so she probably doesn't need that. But
Oh yeah, no,
What
I'm
is
good
it?
with my groom.
it's basically a figurine of wondrous power. It summons an Obsidian Steed that you can ride.
Oh, I'll jump on that if no one's grabbing it.
Okay. The Ion Stone of Insight, which adds +2 to Wisdom. Erin, you take that one.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Also, I just gotta pop in and say, Maggie, that shield looks suspiciously like a wok.
Nice.
+3 rod to the Pact Keeper. That's usually for warlocks, I believe, and I don't think we have any of those. I can just put that in party treasure, I guess. Horn of Valhalla, I took. Spellguard Shield, which I think gives you advantage against spell saves and stuff. Dave, if you prefer that instead of the +3, so.
Nah, maybe
yeah.
maybe our new knight friend would like it. Is he one armed fighter or 2-armed fighter?
That's a good question. Let's check our D&D Beyond. Let's see. Doo-doo-doo. Now I have the D&D Beyond theme song stuck in my head. Someplace in here. Got him.
Holy shit. And now my AC is 22. That's crazy. Time for Maggie to rebrand as get in the center of it and fuck shit up.
The new tank.
Yeah, I haven't been using. I know it's like one of the best cleric combat spells, but the what do you guys keep calling it? The shredder.
Yeah, the chipper shredder.
Chipper shredder, because it's just like, why the hell would Maggie run into the middle of everything when Venedia and Tohan are there? But
so here's the this should. Can you guys see that? Right, the knight stat block. Should be up in the middle of your screen there. So you're asking if he is a two-handed fighter. I believe he's just armed with. Okay, he's got a great sword and a heavy crossbow.
It's great sort of wonder.
He uses two-handed weapons. Then.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No. I think the +3 shield is a lot more useful.
Yeah. So yeah, unless it's something you're gonna do a lot of like saving throws against, like wisdom saving throws or something, I guess. But Okay. I mean, for weapons, I have the Holy Avenger Greatsword, the Giant Slayer Great Axe, and the Vampiric Great Axe, which are all two-handed weapons that I'm not using.
Oh yeah, you could set him up. That's
Oh, yeah, we could.
Mm.
I love it. You're taking this starry-eyed child fighter and just handing him these giant, like, anime weapons.
Like, yeah, here's one of our throwaway weapons, the Holy Avenger.
You're our new Skyrim character.
Yeah. Your name is now, what was it, Lydia? Lydia?
Lydia.
Yep.
Lydia.
It was
yeah.
Lydia.
Yeah.
It's like when you get one of
Oh,
the end
fuck
game
yeah.
weapons, like way early in the
Yeah.
quest. Like,
Yeah, no, she's the first one in
Yeah.
Whiterun.
Yep.
Yep.
I played a lot of Skyrim.
Oh yeah.
A lot of Skyrim and a lot of Morrowind before that. I kind of skipped
Me too.
Oblivion. Not as
Yeah, I
much of a
skipped
fan
Oblivion
of Oblivion.
also. Morrowind was awesome though.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if he has ring mail or better, but we have ring mail now.
I just clicked off from his stat block.
Did we pick up any decent light armor?
What is it?
He's actually wearing plate right now.
Yeah, it's probably way better.
Do we get any kind of read on? I mean, all these like fancy, like the Velvet Tabard and stuff like that, like or Bloodstone orb. Like, is any of this? Do we get any magical reads on it?
The Bloodstone orb, I would say, does come back as magical. It's got a similar magic as the Blackstone. You can tell that it has some sort of a similar effect. And this is again over the course of the night. Reggie would be helping you scan for this, and Arianth, obviously, you would be doing your Arcana
Yeah, I was
checks.
gonna say, could I have just used?
I essentially
I
won't
used
even
like
make
my
your
4 hours.
yeah, I won't even make you roll for it because I'm sure that you guys would figure it out eventually of what the thing does. It's what I like to call taking 20. Like if you roll enough times over enough hours, you're gonna get a 20. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So when you've got that downtime, you're absolutely able to do that. Uh, so yeah, you determine that it essentially casts a spell similar to Globe of Darkness, except for it's essentially Globe of Blood.
Whoa.
So
Ooh, lovely.
this stone, as you look at it, is just a small, like, fits in your palm fairly comfortably. But what appears to be flowing across the surface of it, it actually looks in the changing light, it looks as though there's liquid flowing across the surface of it, or just under the surface of it, maybe. It's very smooth to the touch, almost like a river stone. And yeah, you know that by focusing your magical will, a creature can summon a 15-foot globe of blood. So any creature inside this will be in difficult terrain. Obviously, movement is halved because you're in a pool of blood. It's gross. Yeah, and the creature would obviously be blinded and suffer disadvantage on any attacks or sight-based rolls.
Yeah, I guess
Yuck.
so.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right,
Gross.
dibs on the globe of blood.
I'm a
Yeah,
hard pass.
That's a
I'm
very
a hard pass on
Tohan
the
item,
Globe of
isn't
Blood.
it?
Yeah, Tohan, that's all you. Aaron wants nothing to do with it.
And that's good for 3 charges per day. It automatically charges again every night at midnight.
Unlimited blood.
Oh good, I can't wait.
I'm gonna fill a fucking swimming pool with this. Do we want to like split up money at all either? I mean, I added all the money stuff to my inventory, but so we have
I
like
kind of thought like you were de facto treasurer at this point, basically. So.
yeah, but I'm just worried like something happens and then like Tohan falls off a cliff or something like that, and he takes all your guys' everything with him.
We do need like a big vault somewhere.
Well, I mean, theoretically, you guys have 50,000 gold dragons in a vault in Waterdeep.
I thought it was 80,000.
It might be 80,000. I kind of forget, to be
I had
honest.
it written down.
Yeah, I trust the treasurer.
That was a different timeline, though.
That's true. That was before we killed Malachi.
Yes, who knows
Oh snap!
who knows what could be when you guys get returned to the surface eventually.
No, we had 38,000 in the bank
Hmm.
because we got 50,000, and then we
Oh, we distributed some.
yeah.
I don't know if you want to like maybe distribute 5,000 to each of us or something.
All right, I'm gonna
Or keep
give
it.
Arioth a gem black opal worth 100,000 gold pieces.
Holy crap! I didn't need that much.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think you guys will understand how much money I'm carrying around on me right now. Like
No, we do.
okay,
I think
right,
I'm pretty sure
Aaron
we're
at
in the
the
7 digits at this point.
Aaron's
It's
eyes
Johanna
just
Sears
absolutely
Bezos. Got it.
widen, and gingerly takes the gem and reverently puts it in her backpack.
I'll give Maggie a gem diamond worth 50,000 gold pieces.
All right.
I'm just trying to split this up a little bit here, and then I'll give what's her name? Venadia 3,000 platinum and a periodot worth 10,000 gold pieces.
Sick.
So that way if you have those two things, that way if one of us like falls off a cliff or
No doubt.
Gets
What
like
was that gem called
disintegrated.
again? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
it was a black opal worth 100,000 gold pieces.
Thank you.
Sorry guys, I will be right back. 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'll delete these off of mine.
3,000 platinum, you said?
Yeah, 3,000 platinum and a 10,000 gold piece periodot.
And you said the one you gave me was worth 100,000.
Yeah.
That's one hell of a black opal.
Yeah.
Is there a way to customize
Okay, I'm
the
back.
Peridot
Yeah,
to
'cause-
make it worth 10,000?
Yeah, you just go to manage inventory, add custom item, and then do it that way.
Okay. Wait, where'd it go?
All right,
Come back.
delete that. To be fair, Tohan probably will be the first one to die. So
I don't know.
Well, I mean, at this point, we're in the not too hard to bring you back to life territory. So
yeah, but maybe not with all my stuff.
Well, it's not hard necessarily to bring a body back to life. But like, yeah, I mean, you're in the Underdark. There's things, lava, you could be swept away in a river. All sorts of horrible things.
tell us what other things could happen.
And then,
Time
Zach, you mind if
rewinders
I
and
just
stuff
take
too,
all
don't we?
the other bric-a-brac stuff, the small stuff, and just kind of add them all together here? Just do
Yeah,
like,
that's fine if you just say miscellaneous treasure or whatever.
unless someone wants a rose tinted magnifying glass, just to
Aaron
have.
kind of actually wants that.
It's all
'Cause-
yours.
Just because she likes looking at books and stuff.
Yep. I like to call those flavor items because that's pretty much what they're good for. Like every once in a while, those things come in really handy. Like if you're like in a situation where you happen to need a magnifying glass and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I have one. It's really handy. But that's,
Aaron
other
just
than that,
dislikes
yeah,
it.
they're
That's
good.
just a kind of a personality thing.
Does this gold shield brooch do anything, or is it also just decorative?
I believe everything else was just decorative in the pile. It was mostly just a lot of knickknacks and bric-a-brac. Like amongst that platinum pieces, for example, there may have been not just coins, but it might have been like random platinum like statuettes and things like that, little like knickknacks that were brought as offerings or something like that, I tend to be a little vague with treasure because it's easier.
Does anyone want a bone scepter engraved with arcane runes?
I do not.
Aaron, is that something you could like enchant at some point? Maybe, I don't know.
Probably.
Oh, yeah, Aaron is curious about it because she'd like to. She wants to transcribe and figure out what the arcane runes are. She likes magical history.
And obviously, we're not taking the 320-pound barrel of cider, barrel of wine.
No, but we are sampling heavily.
Chug, chug, chug,
We're
chug.
taking as much in our bladders as we possibly can.
So for what it's worth, one thing Maggie plans on doing tonight is, lighting a fire, making a meal, and doing as best she can to consecrate this to Hestia, and then cast the thing that enables them to return here if they need to.
Was there any value to the rose-tinted magnifying glass or the scepter?
The scepter's worth 250. The rose tinted magnifying glass is worth 100.
Thank you.
We could potentially turn this little cave into like a little sanctuary, although I guess it's not unlikely that some other drows are going to come looking for it at some point.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of explaining to do to whatever priest has to clean this up. They're going to be angry. Priestess, most likely.
Can I put something like that in a bag of holding? How does that work?
Yeah. I mean, you guys have a bag. You guys have two, I think, on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, Aaron has
bag
one.
of holding. Literally, if you put something in it, it will go in there. No matter if it's like a 10-foot pole or like a ladder or whatever, you can shove it in the bag, and it will go in, and the items will come back out in the order that they were put in. So like you reach in, the last thing you put in is the first thing that will come out. If you turn it inside out, duck.
I have the weird bag of holding. I don't recall why it's weird, but there's something weird about my bag of holding.
You have like a boogeyman in yours.
Yes, that is right. That's right.
But isn't it like the hand or something? Wait, I don't remember what
Well,
the deal is.
what you guys had found was a bag that had an inscription that was some sort of a poem that was essentially a nursery rhyme to scare children to go to bed early. But it was about the bagman, and the bagman supposedly was an adventurer who abandoned his party and climbed into a bag of holding to escape the monsters that were chasing him, and he has been searching ever since then to try to find his way out.
Plot twist: it's Guilfoyle.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Maggie's gonna shove that barrel of wine into her bag of holding before they leave.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. I will say it's a very tight fit, but the bag seems to kind of preternaturally stretch as it's like between you and Tohan and Venedia, and then like with Arion's kind of helping with the broom, probably. You guys are able to pull this thing past the widest point of the barrel, and it just goes into the bag with a sound. All right. So yeah, after you guys are finished with your long rest and you guys have divided up all your coinage and your items, uh Adrian kind of politely looks at all of you and after you've rested and it's like, well, where are we off to today, folks? Should be a rousing adventure today, correct?
Always is, Aaron said dryly.
Before Maggie goes to bed, she wants to ask Venedia, do you want me to contact your parents and find out how they are? How and where they are?
Yeah, definitely. Let's see, what would I want to say? Just we thought we'd seen them go through what was it called?
We had heard that wasn't it that we heard that we were in the city when it got sucked down?
Yeah,
Right.
you thought there was potential that they were in El Terrell as it got.
Right, El Terrell, yeah. And we that I'm hoping that they are safe from that or whatever, and where they are now.
I'm trying to remember if Maggie has contacted them in this like timeline or not.
No, probably not
not
because
in
we're
this timeline.
we're
Yeah.
earlier in time than we, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
she'll
You would not have met them, and I would not have originally met you guys yet.
she'll say like cleric of Hestia, friend of Venadia's, thought you were in El Terrell. She's asking, where are
If
you?
they're
Are you
safe.
okay?
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, it's just a few seconds, and you actually get a response back. Tell our daughter we're safe, though things are difficult here. Evil forces have invaded the Sword Coast.
Shit.
The Lord's Alliance will fight back, and that's all that you get from them. The message kind of
Lord's
cuts off.
Alliance will fight back.
Yep, the Lord's Alliance. So the Lord's Alliance, you guys would all have a vague familiarity with this. It's sort of a loose. It's like think of NATO kind of, but for the Sword Coast. Like the
Oh,
major
okay.
cities of the Sword Coast, including like Baldur's Gate, Waterdeep, Neverwinter, they all have a very loose alliance against what they consider to be the forces of evil. So like were say a rampaging orc army to go running across all of the Sword Coast, they would band together and kind of fight them off.
Uh-huh.
Um, this only extends as far as real threats to the realm, not so much just threats to
Right.
individual kingdoms. So, like, let's say that they've got, like, if Neverwinter has a party of trolls that attacks it, not everybody in the area is going to come rushing to their aid because it's like handle your own business.
Right.
But
Or if Baldur's Gate attacks something and get some shit with someone else, then
yeah,
no
tough
one
luck.
else is getting dragged
Yeah,
into it with them. Yeah.
exactly. Like it is a defensive alliance essentially,
Mhm.
but it is for essentially world-ending level threats. So the fact that you've heard now this Lord's Alliance has been activated should give you reason for concern. And you can only assume that it has something to do with the city of Helterel re-rising back up into the world and carrying with it numerous demons and devils, along with, who knows, opening up a passage perhaps to the lower planes. Not to mention, you guys may have freed Tiamat from her prison in Avernus, so there's that.
Bless her many heads.
Okay, she's also gonna check in with I can't remember what happened when she checked in with Lulu.
So Lulu had told you that Zariel had resumed her celestial form, and that her and Lulu were attempting to contact the powers of Mount Celestia and several of the other realms of light, as it were, to try and get reinforcements to go back and essentially finish what they started with the with Avernus and with Asmodeus.
They're not necessarily interested in El anymore.
No, she does, however, she did, however, kind of indicate that it was like on their radar, like they know that that's got to be handled as well.
Okay, yeah, I guess Maggie will check back in with her again, and she's got 3 spell slots left for this, so she'll
Okay,
check.
for the night before or whatever. All right.
Yeah. So
So
she'll check back in with Lulu and
all
find out
right,
what's up.
and just basically it's like a hey, what's going on in your neck of the woods type thing.
Yeah, like, can you give us an update and like what's like is there now a rift, or like did El Terrell create a rift from hell to Sword Coast?
Okay. So the information you get back, let's see. Let me try and phrase this. Uh, she says something bad happened. The gate is now open. We can't close it. trying to gather help still. Do you know anyone that can help us? That's pretty close to 25, I think.
The gate meaning.
She just says the gate has been opened and we can't close it.
Yeah, do we know what that means?
I mean, it's kind of indicative that something happened, like you were kind of thinking. Like it seems intuitive that, as this city was ascending out of the lower planes into the upper planes, it may have caused some sort of commotion. Reggie kind of would side with that too, just say that that's probably the logical thing as far as the magic part of it was concerned.
The only people that Maggie can think of that would help would be that tree of life or the wizard that's kind of thrown them around a few times.
Elminster?
Yeah. Or no, is it Elminster?
Well,
That was
Elminster was the original one that sent you through time, yes.
and that pulled us out of the collapsing temple or dungeon.
I believe so, yes. That's going back a ways.
Yeah, I don't know. What does the party think? Anyone worth reaching out to about it?
I'm sorry. What I was paying attention to something on my item list. What were you just discussing?
Well, I guess
Just quick synapses.
yeah. So it sounds like Alterel kind of like opened the gate from hell to the upper planes, and
Oh yeah,
Lulu and Zariel are looking for someone to help them close the gate. And the only ones Maggie can think of are that Tree of Life or Elminster, but I don't know if we can think of anyone else from our travels.
You don't
What
think we can
about
close it?
would that is Elminster the wizard that we spoke to that had originally transformed Reggie into the rod?
Nope, that was Mordenkainen. You met him much later.
Aaronith suggests Mordenkainen as a possibility as well.
Actually, wait, Tohan, did you just say Umbra?
No, I said, what about us? You don't think we can take him out? Help him close?
we're kind of stuck where we are though.
I thought we could teleport.
But we also need to find a spot where the influence of the wild magic stuff isn't gonna mess with us. My teleportation spell only allows me to teleport to two different places that the DM chooses. Then we'd still have to find our way to wherever back to Elturel.
So it's more of an emergency, like get out of here quick thing than anything.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like if all else fails and we need to get the hell out of here.
What about Umbra? I don't know.
I mean,
Well, she certainly knows her way around portals.
Should we drag a kid into this?
Yeah, we only dragged her into hell.
I mean,
She
technically,
well, right,
she
but-
dragged you into hell, I
Right.
think.
Yeah.
She's like
I
a
mean-
kid and a kid,
Semantics.
so she's
well,
like,
by all rights, we could try to see if Umbra would be able to portal us out of here easier, but her portals might be affected by the magic interference here too.
Well,
Worth
maybe
a
we
shot,
should just
though.
concentrate on getting out of here first. See
I
where we are and then make our plans.
Reggie does seem to think that the Phasers effects are, like, this particular area, they seem very strong, but he says there are areas of the Underdark where they are much weaker, so regular
was Aaron's thought.
surface magics may work better.
That was Aaron's original thought for ever doing the portal thing, was to find a place where that was weaker or there weren't as much effect. Wasn't.
all right. Well, I think Maggie will send to Umbra and just say, "Deary Lulu could use your help closing portal from hell to Alterel on upper planes. If you can get away safely.
Okay. This is going to take a couple seconds here for me to come up with a good response. So you get back. Oh, hey, Mags. Yeah, Dad's kind of miffed. So I can't come, but I might be able to help. Hang on. Oops. Gotta go.
Awesome.
Whoopsie.
Well, now that entire plot line exists. That's how multiverses work.
Nice.
Sometimes being the DM is way cooler than being a player because now you guys are worried, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah, you probably should be.
That's not new.
She didn't help. I'll just put it that way. She tried. Just didn't. She helped the way that 12-year-olds often help.
Well, we're still in the area where they were doing the drow were doing the ritual, right?
Yep.
Erin would like to do like an arcana check to see if there's anywhere she senses or like or just like looking around, does she see anywhere that like looks particularly ornate or of interest? Like where maybe around like an altar or anything like that?
Yeah, so around the center of the room, there, even though it's a little bit disturbed by the scuffle, you can see what appears to be, scratch marks, perhaps from like a dagger or some sort of other tool, like a chisel. They go around in a very large kind of ornate pattern. Like you didn't notice it at night when you were camping, but, upon waking up and picking up all the things and kind of shoving all the dead bodies in a pile somewhere, maybe, uh, you kind of notice that yeah, it's very faint, but it's there, and it seems to be kind of centered where these wizards were originally casting this summoning magic. And you think you've seen something similar to it in one of your enchanting books, and upon kind of looking through your book and flipping through, and we'll say again, this could be part of like your extra 4 hours of downtime that you get. Um, you are able to determine that this particular sigil, not sigil, sigil, is kind of clutch in being able to summon any sort of demon. There are different alterations to it according to the book that can be made that will summon different demon variants. And you spend maybe an hour and you can actually copy this down into one of the blank pages of this book, copy down this incantation, which sort of serves as like the physical component, we'll say, to a summon demon spell. So
Sweet.
you would still need to learn the incantation probably from someone. Uh, but you also kind of think that your sorceress nature, you might take to it fairly quickly. Like you might not have too much of a problem performing a spell like that. Like you understand it fairly innately.
Like if
Like
I was to meditate on it during a long rest, I'd be able to figure it out.
more than that, you would need to still have someone explain to you the proper like way to do it so that you could do it safely. But you could probably meditate on it and then try to figure it out yourself,
Cool.
which might result in something different than if you got taught.
The other thing I want to, well, part of the reason I was asking about that is how big of an area is the general room we're in now?
Let's see. In general, like the most raised up part of the platform is about 35 feet wide and facing east, north,
Well,
south.
like on the floor plan.
Yeah, I mean, so each grid right there is supposed to be about 5 feet or so. Your figures are a little small, but so 5,
All
10,
right.
15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 in the wider spots. Probably about 40 long or 40 tall. So it's a
All
pretty good
right.
sized area.
Just for the heck of it, I have that wand of secrets. I'm gonna stand in one. I'm gonna float on my broom in one half of the room, and use one charge of it to see if there's any secret doors or anything like that in that area.
Secrets.
Throwback.
Was that nightclub?
Ah,
Secrets?
there was a nightclub called
It was
Secrets.
like
Yeah, wasn't that in like Skateland or
it
not
was like a
Skateland or what's
skate
couples?
park thing.
There was
Yeah.
it was called Secrets. It was like the nightclub version for like teenagers.
For teenagers, yeah, it was like
Oh,
a skate rink
yeah,
thing.
I'd
That's
forgotten all
that's
about
funny.
that.
Yeah, the commercials are super creepy. Secrets.
So yeah, I want to use two charges and one in each half of that room just to see if there's any secret doorways or passages or anything like that.
Okay. You do not detect any secret passages. The wand does not pulse or flare in any way. Just seems like this is a
Alright.
well guarded and closed off room with good ventilation.
Fair enough. I just wanted to try it,
Yeah, absolutely.
but I did. At least I got that cool spell.
So yeah, as you guys are dead drill mage down here too. As you guys are aware, your general direction was north and west. Um, and the areas you have explored so far, go over those really quick. This is where you had encountered several achigs, however you say it. Um, you had made your way kind of through these awkward cliffs and caves to the passage where you had found the deceased. That was somewhere in here. You had fought off some trolls that were probably guarding this drow area, and you had encountered this little stream of water. And up here's where you had encountered Adrian.
Is
So,
it possible for Reggie to sense an area where the wild magic aspect is weaker?
he tells you that from what he can tell, this area is kind of blocked out to him. It seems like to the east is just solid stone for quite a ways, as far as his sensors can tell. And farther to the west, he can only kind of detect out to where he can sense the exit. Like, so either one of these two areas is where it begins to kind of fade and get to where you would be able
Gotcha.
to activate some more accurate teleportation of some sort.
Alright. Well, let's keep wandering, I guess.
Does Maggie do the inspiring leader thing?
Definitely. Does her oh yeah, so 16 temporary hit points to everyone, including the knight. Does her word of recall thing work? She's trying to like basically she's
Like
lighting
setting a save point to right here.
yeah, she's like lighting a fire and trying to kind of like unconsecrate this to whatever it's consecrated to, and then designate it as a sanctuary for Hestia. Um, in which case they'd be able to return here if they need to.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be as simple as in the morning, Maggie's just cooking her morning meal, right? Like she's just like, okay, well, I'm gonna, and I say morning loosely again because you guys have no clue what time of day it actually is. It's just
Yeah.
the same ugly, weird green gray color with some purple hues here and there because everything's purple in the Underdark, I guess. Um, and yeah, maybe using that new shield you found as the wok, like you're cleaning that up, getting like maybe not even using it to cook, but you're still oiling it, like putting it near the fire to like get it nice and seasoned so that it's ready for when you do want to make some stir fry. Uh, and through these kind of simple acts of prayer, it's not even like a devoted ritual. You're not like calling out to Hestia or anything. I think it's just more an act that you perform that kind of consecrates this ground, and you can feel Hestia there with you in that moment. She is not just guiding your actions, but you are as much empowering her will.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a very spiritual moment for you, it's almost unnoticed, I think, by anybody else in the room. Like I don't think. I mean, you guys could roll a perception check to see what you think about it, but that's up to you. Um, I feel like it would be kind of a quiet moment, and yes, you would have this the ability to return to this spot, to this good memory, in the future.
Nice. Sweet.
So knowing that you guys, and again, the Eye of Agos, essentially, like you're kind of looking at what you could see in the Eye of Agos as well, like when Reggie's patching his map patch into it. So like you can kind of keep track of this stuff fairly easily. So we can make it as simple as, do you want to return to the area that leads to the west, the area that leads to the north? I think that's the only two open areas you guys haven't explored yet. Oh, there is an area to the east over here as well, but if you guys want to go that way or not, because sometimes board games run out of room.
Might as well go back north. We've already kind of explored that a little, right?
Mm-hmm.
So say you guys make your way past the waterfall again. Nani, at this point, you recognize that this water is in fact like clean, drinkable water. Adrian tells you that he's been fine just drinking it. Um, so if you guys would like, you can mark down that you've refilled all water skins, wine skins, whatever you'd like. And as you head to the north, lock in our tiles so that doesn't move on us. You come to a bend in the path. This path is now leading back up, whereas before you had been kind of going down lower in the ground. You feel like you had maybe descended 20, 30, 40 feet down as you had approached that last cavern. And the Drow cavern was probably the lowest that it, because it went down a large ramp to it, so that was maybe even 50 or 60 feet under where you had started. You now feel the shift in the slope, and it begins to lead back uphill. The ground is very slick through this area. There's a lot of kind of like slimy algae lining the walls here. And there's a faint smell, like a fishy odor. Not like fresh fish, but like the strange, like I had to clean up the styrofoam that somebody left sitting out fish smell.
Smells like my mother's cooking.
So, as you're approaching, as you kind of wander up the path here, oops, looking at the wrong thing here. As you begin to wander up the path, you reach a split. Above you is a short cliff of about 20 feet, and up ahead you can see what appears to be kind of a cavern with stepped kind of stairs leading up to it. Rolling down these stairs is just maybe an inch or so of water, but that's kind of, it rolls off to the west, coating the floor, making it fairly slick through this area. And right about to where you are is where it levels off. So there's just the faintest bit of water that's rolling down towards where you guys are, and pooling up down by where you guys had crossed over into that waterfall area, like here somewhere. And off in the distance, you can hear, "Keep it down, it's not ready. Get out of there. You, clean up the table."
If so, does that ledge? If I rose up on my broom to where that ledge is, would I be able to see into where the other stairs kind of go into?
Yeah, it appears like it's almost again like the reverse of the situation you guys had in the drow room. Like this is like a window up above you, that looks out to the west. And it seems like from kind of you peeking around, you can sort of see that there's like stairs back up here. If you were to fly up on your broom, just give me a sneak check, stealth check. Sorry.
Does it count that I have a Mask of the Wild where I can attempt to hide even when you are only lightly obscured?
Yes. Yeah, you're actually in pretty much medium obscurity right now with the darkness. I'm assuming it depends on if you guys have like torches blazing or if you guys are proceeding kind of normal.
Well, we just woke up, so technically we wouldn't have, I wouldn't have any of my like a light spell or anything going like that.
Yeah, I mean, so
I,
far
I would
you
I
guys
would
just circled around, so I should have asked you
Are we
that
gonna do
earlier.
our little like different colored flames like we had? What was that spell you did?
Well, I mean, Maggie and I can't see in the dark, so
well well let's just say that whatever lights we had when we hear the voices, I motioned for us to close out to turn off any lights we have so I can try to very sneakily hide and like float up there and see what's going on before we walk up there.
Okay. So yeah, so just roll me a stealth check. And what was the Mask of the Wild again? You said you could.
I can attempt to hide even when I am only lightly obscured.
Yeah. So we'll say we'll give you advantage on it because you are in kind of obscurity, provided that you do in fact snuff out the lights. We'll say if you're snuffing out the lights where you are right now, your lights probably wouldn't quite penetrate up above the cliff. It might have shadowed the lights a bit. But that this area over here was where you had heard the noise coming
I got a 12.
from. Okay. So as you approach the edge of the cliff, you peek over. You do the old two hands on the edge of the cliff, and you're sitting on the broom, and you just pull yourself up to like your nose to look over. And as you do, you see two creatures. We'll say. There we go. Right around here, two of them. Yeah. Um, they appear to be details page. They appear to be these kind of gray, uh, semi-bipedal creatures. They walk much like a gorilla. They are large and barrel-chested. Let me see if I can display them to you. Doink. They look like that.
If by using my mental channel I relay all of this to Maggie, can the Eye of Argos give us any info?
Um, well, so
Or
the
does she
way
have to look upon it?
yeah, the way the eye would work is like if she was looking at that creature, it sort of appears above its head floating like you would see like have you ever seen the movie I think it's Fall Guy?
No, yes, that's an
Or
awesome
like,
movie.
Terminator.
Yeah, like, exactly. It's like a heads up
Yeah,
display sort of.
no doubt. Oh well, worth a shot. All right, so what do I think I see them doing?
They appear to be hunched over. One appears to be kind of sewing something. It's like got this giant needle and like what appears to be either fur or some kind of animal skin, and it seems to be pulling a thread through it. Not cleverly or gently, it's just jabbing the needle in and yanking the thread tight and then jabbing it again a foot down and yanking it tight. It's doing some awful, awful craftsmanship, but it's doing stuff. The other one appears to be taking a series of large bowls and plopping this kind of dog food looking substance, like it looks kind of like Alpo, just out of this large pot where it sits over smoldering embers. Clearly an improper fire. It looks like they've been burning those like mushrooms that you guys have seen, and the whole place smells like this kind of burnt, like fungal odor. Not a pleasant smell. Not like cooked mushrooms. Like nasty, like mold.
Erin is just wrinkles her nose because she doesn't like the smell and very quietly floats back down and relays everything she saw to the party.
As you begin to float back down, the voice again calls out from this time. You can hear it more clearly. It is from somewhere's up in here. It says, "What are you two doing in the other room? Hurry up with those chores. Dinner's almost served." And this just as your head is kind of descending below the line of sight of this cliff, you can see two more of these awful-looking creatures come walking around this corner here, towards where the first two were in this area. So this time I'll pull out some minis here. That's it. Oops.
Are we gonna try to fight these man-bear pigs? Or are we gonna try to sneak away?
Erin sort of shrugs and says
Whichever.
she doesn't really think they're much of a threat, but she does nonchalantly mention that perhaps they know a way out of here. But either way, she doesn't really care about them.
You want to try
I
talking
say
to
we
them?
go the
And
way that we're.
And if they're impolite, we'll teach them the error of their ways.
All right.
I say we
Is
just
there
go the
a-
way we're going, and if they get in our way, and then we have to fight them.
Yeah, yeah. If Aranith is fine with that, Aranith figures just be on our way, and if we encounter them, deal with them then.
How
She's not all that concerned.
How high is this cliff right here?
It's about 20 feet or so for this little area, that little area right there.
Zach, were you saying Ariane saw something on the way down, or just the?
She saw
Just
the
the-
other.
Just
She
more of
saw
them.
the other two of these creatures kind of walking up towards the northern part of that area, that raised up plateau, mesa. I don't know if you call it a mesa if it's underground. So are you guys going to try to proceed to the west?
Well, were we trying to go north?
Well, yeah, but we gotta go. Looks like we gotta go west in order to go
Yeah.
north.
Yeah.
I guess
Whatever.
we might as well talk to them. If we're not scared of them, we might as well ask them if they know how to get out. And also, are we not down here to look for, like, part of why we're here is to look for that rod of Orcus, right?
Well, as far as we know, Reggie senses it on 3 different planes.
So we might find a way to get it somewhere down here, right?
Possibly, but we're
I don't
also I would assume we're all pretty concerned about what's going on in El Terrell, considering that Umbra made
Yeah.
things worse.
But if we talk to these guys, maybe we can get info on both of those things, on like how to get out and.
Aranith doesn't care either way. She's kind of dismissive of these guys from what she saw.
Well, if someone wants to say hi, say hi.
Adrian kind
Does
of.
Maggie want it?
And those like up ahead, those are stairs that would take us up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Okay.
Aranith will use her. Hold on a second.
I'm gonna
Bear with me.
I'll
one
come
second.
to the
follow-
stairs.
I'm gonna follow right behind Maggie.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'll come to the stairs there.
Before anybody
I
goes
think-
on the stairs, I'm going to use shape water to try to make them less slippery.
Well, thank you. But I think that Maggie should. I think one person should. I don't want it to seem like a bunch of us are rolling up on him or something. Maybe we'll just wait down here.
Okay, so like you guys go to like the base of the stairs. Ariantha, are you going up there with him, or are you hanging back here?
Aaron is really was found them absolutely distasteful and doesn't really have much interest in dealing with them, but she'll back anybody up who goes up there.
Okay. So you're up here. And we'll assume that you're walking kind of with them then, or flying with them anyways, and you're shaping the water. So it's like a mini version of like parting the Red Sea. It just kind of like moves out of the way, and it's like there's a quiet blow dryer in front of you drying off the rock because it's all the water comes off the rock. So it's like the surest footing that anybody has in this cavern for the last 200 years. The knight Adrian is still following with you. Let's see something here. Dice rolling. Okay. Although a few times you kind of hear his armor give off a little clink or chank when he's walking along. Um, he sort of tightens up the straps on his shoulders and looks like, ooh, sorry, and continues walking along with you. As you reach the top of this particular area, you see a strange-looking old woman leaning over what appears to be another of these large iron cauldrons. And you also see two more of these dretches. Whoops. Which are now identified to you.
What are they called?
They are called a dretch. I'll pull them up here.
Like DRETCH.
Yep, there we go. So they are a demon, chaotic evil. You can see AC 11, 18 hit points. Nothing special. Not particularly fast, not particularly smart or strong. They are literally just low-level demons. So, wait. Oops.
I hope they're polite for their sake.
Doop, doop, doop. Here's your details on it.
Yeah, they look like man-bear pigs.
Among the weakest of demons, repulsive, self-loathing creatures doomed to spend eternity in a state of perpetual discontent. Their low intelligence makes dretches unsuitable for anything but the simplest tasks. However, what they lack in potential, they make up for in sheer malice. Dretches mill about in mobs, voicing their displeasure as an unsettling din of hoots, snarls, and grunts, which is exactly what you see here. Basically, like, this woman, like, they're making their way over with their big shoulders and lumbering over towards the pot and, like, trying to slurp from the pot with their hands, and the old woman's like smacking their hand away with a ladle, and she's yelling at them and telling them, "No, no, dinner will only be served when I say it's served." So far, she does not seem to notice you. Oops. Dretch page for a second.
Yeah, I guess Maggie will step out from. What are these big guys?
They're still dretches. I just haven't resized them yet.
Oh.
Those are Titan dresses.
Yeah, Maggie will step up and say, "Well met, friend. I'm a cleric of Hestia, and serving others is also the power of my lady." She's talking to the old woman.
Okay. Now above her head, you see counters. Too many tabs open again. Do. Up. There we go. It says Night Hag. She is a fiend. So she seems to be a little bit more powerful. 12 hit points. And this, like, I'll even say that this is sort of, being read out by the Eye of Agos in either subtitles or like there's probably the little button where you can turn the sound on. Maybe you just noticed it. I don't know. But yes, sly and subversive night hags want to see the virtuous turn to villainy, love turned into obsession, kindness turned to hate, devotion turned to disregard, and generosity to selfishness. They take perverse joy in corrupting mortals. Were once creatures of the Feywild, but their foulness saw them exiled to Hades long ago, where they degenerated into fiends. Night hags have long since spread across the lower planes. So yeah, essentially they, she's a witch. Fun fact, Mad Maggie also fell into this category. Mad Maggie was in fact a night hag. So you've sort of dealt with this sort of creature before. They are fairly intelligent, but they are dangerous. So you said something to her? What did you say to her again?
Yeah, she's she's just like, well met, friend. I'm a cleric of Hestia. My lady, uh, yeah, like our ministry is also feeding those around us.
Okay. She turns and she kind of looks shocked for a moment. Well, what do you want?
We're looking for a way to the upper plains. We heard it may be to the north or northwest.
Don't know. Never been there. Don't care to go. Sounds horrible.
Have you only lived in this portion of the caves?
Just got here. Last thing I knew, me and these boys were having a blast ransacking the city. Next thing, wound up here in these caves. Not so bad though. It's dark, dingy. Been fighting a lot of spiders to cook.
What city did you come from?
That human city.
That had slipped into hell? Into Avernus, whatever it's called?
Yes. She sort of snarls. All
Have
of
you?
the dretches are now kind of getting more and more riled up. They're like picture a horde of angry apes essentially, but with like reptilian skin, kind of going like behind this night hag and jumping all around this pot. And now that she's not paying attention, they are just ravenously scooping handfuls of this nasty dog food shit into their mouth. It's like getting all over their face.
Mission accomplished. Maggie says, "Have you sensed any powerful magical items down here? We were warned there might be."
Aranith quickly uses the mental thing to tell her not to give any details.
Yeah. That's all she says then.
So as you start to say this, and then you kind of cut yourself short, she looks you up and down for a moment. She says, "What are you, a cop? What's with all the questions?"
Maggie says, "We got rid of our cop. I'm a follower of Hestia and the Hearth."
Yeah, I like to think Valk's on desk duty now for the wardens. They were like, "Whoa, dude, you can't go leading orc armies around. That's not okay." Hi, Bob. We miss you.
Can't
Come
get
back.
in the line of service on purpose.
Yeah, so she's kind of being a little terse with you at this point. Roll me a charisma saving throw.
Can I help Maggie?
I mean, yeah, what would you say? Would you say something to like the hag to try to help her? Like, how would you play it out?
Maggie's at 27 on charisma.
Well, Aranith just steps back, seeing that Maggie has it handled.
Okay. She kind of looks at you for a moment. She says, "Well, are you coming to eat or not? Come on then." And she kind of nods towards the dretches, and the one that had been kind of sort of scrubbing the bowls clean with some dirt in the cave, like some sandy rocks or something. She's been scrubbing old rotten food out of it. Hands her a large stack of these bowls, and with surprising strength, she's grasping these bowls that they look like a wooden salad bowl, but made to hold about a gallon. So think like this is a small log, and she then plops a enormous amount of this dog food slop into it. And she immediately begins walking over with a stack of these on her arm. These bowls are just stacked up. There's five of them. As your knight approaches behind you, and she begins to realize that there are five. And she walks down the stairs, just plopping through the wet muck up to where the dry spot is, and she stops, looks down, kind of sidesteps around it a bit, and then begins to pass all the bowls off to you, Maggie, like passing them out to each of you.
Maggie says, "We are so grateful. We've just eaten, but we'll gladly join you." And she brings up a spoon to her face or whatever and takes a sniff.
Okay, make me a Constitution saving throw.
That is a 5.
Okay. Smelling this immediately activates your gag reflex, and you are now fighting to keep your nausea down. You will consider yourself. Wait, I have condition cards for this.
Can Aranith quickly cast predigitation, noticing Maggie in distress, and get the smell away from her?
Yes, you can absolutely do that. Let me just search these real quick to figure out which one I'm looking for here. They all say exhaustion, that's why. It's weird. Tiny print. So yes, we will consider you poisoned. It's not like you're not actually like poison dying or anything, but you have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks, while the food is near you essentially at this point. Like you've already smelled it. So although you are able to not vomit in the face of this night hag because of the prestidigitation to clear that smell away, um, you are not happy that you are still holding this food. Like this food actually offends your sense of like your will towards Hestia's mission. You're like, this is the opposite of food. I'm pissed.
Aranith just glances at Maggie with a look that says, "Told you so."
And as your spell goes off, Arianth, even though it's a subtle hand gesture, I believe that you need to make for that, um, the night hag immediately looks. She gets a look on her face like someone let out the nastiest fart in the room, and she's like, "Ugh, what is that smell?" And she immediately looks at Arianth.
Aranith just has a look of utter innocence on her face and just shrugs, like she just has no idea.
Maggie says, as sweetly as she can muster, "Drying the ground here must have released something strange. It probably hasn't been dry in 100 years." And she puts the bowl down very gently and kind of like at least makes a show of kind of like praying over it and essentially consecrating the act of feeding to Hestia, and um, tells the night hag, we're also new to these caves, and I don't believe our stomachs have adapted yet, but we're so grateful for your offer." And if she had a business card for for the Church of Hestia, she'd pull it out and hand it to her. But she's just basically like the act of providing food to those around you puts you in good company with my lady Hestia. If you have quiet moments in this cave, take it upon yourself to reach out to her.
So in like instead of like the tiny Gospel of John, it's like the tiny Gospel of Hestia. It's like a like 6-page pamphlet that's just got a bunch of random scriptures from something in it.
Yep.
So yeah, you hand this to her, and she just looks confused, and she sniffs once, sneezes, and then wipes her nose with the cover of the book, but then stuffs it in her front pocket. She's like, meh. My At least it's something to wipe me arse with later, as she's kind of muttering to herself. Um, she says, well, if you don't want food, what do you want? Everybody wants something, right?
We're just wondering if you've sensed powerful items around that might be cause for concern. We're looking for a way out.
Well, not sure why you'd want to get out of here, but as far as I can tell, this whole place is littered with strange magics. I tried a simple potion the other day. If you believe it or not, all 6 of these used to be balers. Probably lucky for you anyway, they aren't. Ah, and she kind of grins, and she's just got this nasty, like, green-blue smile. It looks almost like the mold that you've seen growing on the cave that's sort of got this slight glow to it. Like, have you ever seen anybody in like the black light with a really fluorescent colored set of teeth?
Mm-hmm.
It sort of looks like that.
I turn to her and ask, do you sense anything particularly powerful?
Only what you're looking at, dearie. She sort of smiles again.
I smile and wink at her.
Say, who's the pretty boy in the back? And she motions towards the knight. Adrian, meanwhile, is kind of crapping his pants right now. Like, you think that for being a knight,
I'm Tohan.
he's never really seen he's never really seen anything quite like this. All right, you say that, and she's like, sorry, I don't date lizards.
You know what they say.
Once you go
Aaron
lizard.
starts getting impatient with this whole situation, and,
Yeah,
and she surreptitious. While this is all going on, she floats over with her plate to one of the other guys and says, "Here, you want this?"
To one of the dretches. Okay.
Yeah.
So the dretch sort of looks at you suspiciously, and then it reaches out, and sort of like a dog that doesn't know whether to trust a human, it snaps the food away from you and immediately begins kind of wolfing it down. And as soon as you do that, one of the other dretches kind of slaps the thing in the back of the head and takes the bowl away from him, a slightly larger dretch. And
As this is going on, Erin is quickly floating away so that she's not getting splattered.
so yeah, it quickly devolves into essentially like a dog fight. And the hag sort of turns around and she goes, "What's going on over there? Hey, stop that!" She begins running back to deal with them. And she goes, "Oh, I don't know. Why don't you just get out of here? You've upset my boys. Boys, settle down!" And she begins smashing them over the head with the ladle that she was holding. Again, Maggie, this is definitely some sort of like sacrilege to you. Like this is an act of like feeding out of hate almost. It's like she's feeding these things just to keep them alive to serve her.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly that's sort of become their role.
I feel slightly responsible that there's fiends in the Underdark.
Erin just really doesn't care what we do at this point. She's pretty much has a look of impatience on her face, like either let's kill him or go.
Yeah, I think it's time to move on.
Okay. So you guys going to continue on to the west, which is your only exit from this tile, or again you can double back and head west farther down here.
As well stay up here.
Yeah, go west.
You find yourself in a series of narrow tunnels. After tracking through several of them and finding them to be dead ends, you wind up. The slowest portion here. Back to my encounters. Let's see if it's anything. Oh, okay. So after tracking through this tunnel, you get to where you think that you can see a way through. Make your way down, um, and you become slightly disoriented at the end of this, and wind up doubling yourselves back. And it takes you maybe an extra like 15, 20 minutes to make your way around again until you are back down here. Um, this doesn't have any actual practical effect other than to irritate you as a party.
We're just tired and irritated at this point.
Exactly. You get to the next area, and you can see that there is a large drop. Uh, if you were to kick a pebble or something off the ledge, you would hear it fall for a fair amount of seconds before it hit the bottom of the chasm. Uh, and when it does, you kind of hear like click, 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 like it bounces off both walls. So it seems like this crevasse just sort of narrows to a small fissure. Uh, and you see what appears to be a very rickety bridge going across it, missing several planks. It's about maybe 15 or 20 feet across.
Can I just float everybody across on my broom?
Yeah, if you were to take another 15 minutes or so, you could float everybody safely across.
Does anybody object to that, or do you want to do it a different way?
No, I'll float.
Oh, good. We all float down here.
Nice. Unlock you guys, because I accidentally locked you with the tile. That tile. Right. Alright, so when you make it across, you can see that there is a side tunnel over here. A larger cave system down here, you know, it's WYSIWYG. You did what you see is what you get. Back over here. Those so you can see a little bit better. So proceeding back to the south, it now seems that your only exit is going to be around to the west. And in the large cavern, double check which one of these actually has people in it. This one is 6. Loading. I need like a graphic for the screen that just says loading, so I can just pop it up every once in a while. Get you guys back in focus. So you see a garden of tall, gray-stalked mushrooms. There is a pile of small to medium bones here, as though some animal, some carnivorous beast, has made its feeding area through here. And
Does that just cut out?
sorry. I'm reading something. So towards the bottom, towards the southeast corner of this cave, sorry, you can see this little area here seems to kind of slope down to a small pool of water again. And by this pool of water, you see several kind of short frog-looking creatures, identified by the eye as Kuatoa. Kuatoa are a humanoid frog-like or fish-like species. Um, they seem to be kind of stalking the edge of the water, and at one point, one of them jabs a spear in and comes out with what appears to be some sort of a writhing, like grub-like creature. And he puts it into a sack on his side, and they go back to kind of stalking the water again and looking for whatever these creatures are. It seems that you've stumbled upon some sort of a hunting party.
Can I do a nature check to see what the mushrooms are?
Yeah, absolutely.
13.
So these appear to be similar to the woody mushrooms that you guys saw earlier. They basically look like a very smooth-barked tree when you're kind of looking at them. Uh, they don't come across as having any like outstanding magical properties anyways. They may be, useful as an ingredient or something like that, but they're not innately magical. They do not have any sort of glow to them, which makes them a little bit different than a lot of the other funguses you've been seeing. These are just a very like gray, dingy, sort of almost like a silver birch kind of.
Can I tell if they have any edible or medicinal properties?
You're fairly certain they wouldn't kill you if you ate them. They probably aren't particularly nutritious. It'd be about like chewing up some pine, but nothing that would get you sick,
You
really.
cut out again, Zach.
I just they probably wouldn't have very much nutritional value, but they would be edible technically. Just something to fill your belly, not really anything to provide any real nutrients. It's kind of would be like chewing on cardboard.
Well, Aaron just grabs a little bit just to have for
Yeah, you could
just
peel some of the
possibly
smooth
for
bark
as a
off pretty easy. Yeah.
yeah for ingredients if anything.
Yeah, the ceilings here too are about probably 20 to 30 feet high, and a lot of these mushrooms they go up pretty much to the ceiling of this cave, so they seem to be kind of filling the space. Each one maybe occupies the cap of it occupies a space of maybe like 3 or 4 feet. Some of them are a little larger, like 5 or 7 feet.
So it's like a little a mini mushroom forest.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of just this little grove in this cave.
Do I have any control over that out of curiosity?
You could certainly try.
Aaron just very gently tries to sense if she has any kind of control over one.
Yeah, so as you're taking this little bit of bark off the tree, you kind of like think, maybe I'll try and heal it a little bit, and make it grow that bark back. And it very subtly and slowly does as you're applying your magic kind of gently. You figure it's not quite like a tree, but it's probably the closest thing to a tree that's down here in the Underdark. So it does seem like you have the same amount of control over these things as you do over other regular plants.
Aaron tucks that information away for future use.
Now do me a favor, roll a D100.
Me?
Yep.
Ready? $96.
Aye. So as you apply this magic, something happens where you can feel like at first everything seems fine, but then you get kind of like a twinge in your hand where you were touching this tree, and down here, 96. Where are you? 96. Okay. Um, Make me a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. It's either 16 or 17, I think.
16. I'm gonna use my inspiration to re-roll that.
Okay. So you're really fighting against whatever this is now.
Jesus Christ, same fucking thing. 5. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna use my last inspiration.
Okay.
10.
Okay. So this takes about 30 seconds as you are valiantly fighting against whatever is happening to you right now. The effects of wild magic have taken hold of you. Increased by the phase risk, this wild magic is now just triggered at random. Not only when you cast a spell, but during any sort of magical act that any of you perform. It seems like perhaps there's a chance for this wild magic to fire off. Um, and when you use your first inspiration, your pointy ears suddenly kind of elongate and fold back, and grow fur on them, and your hair begins to curl and tighten as though it's becoming like a almost a coat of wool. And you quickly clap your hands to your ears, and they pop back to their normal selves with the use of that first inspiration. And you sort of begin running your hands through the wool above your head, and a lot of it begins kind of you start kind of trying to tear it back out, and it stays for a moment, and then with the use of your last inspiration, there is a loud kind of popping noise, and you are transformed into a sheep.
Oh shit!
Uh,
Ah.
Reggie falls to the floor. Oh dear! All of you can hear his kind of cry of like, oh shit.
I
I pick
have
up Reggie, concerned.
in my inventory. I have a one of the. It's like a pearl or something that takes away this sort of like condition things. Can I use that, or am I just screwed?
Reggie, do you have any idea what this sheep is saying?
So Arianth, still dressed in Arianth's garb, by the way. She's still in whatever
Okay.
Arianth was wearing. So she is now a fully grown sheep. And she begins to spin about trying to access the bags that are on her side, which leads her to comically spin in a circle for a minute before she realizes she's going to have a hard time reaching these things.
I help her get the bag off her side and set it down in front of her.
Okay. So you're able to get this this item out. What is it again, Ariane?
Oh, hold on, I gotta go get my bag. I had 3 of them that I got, and I think I used one for something for Tohan. This was before I had learned how to actually add stuff to Beyond. Sorry, you're gonna have to give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
Jen's spinning in circles trying to get a bag right now.
So I can fast track this a bit. As you are searching through your bag in both real life and in the game, there is another loud pop, and after about a minute of you being a sheep, you transform back into Arianth. You're now very disheveled. Like, like one arm is like out of its sleeve and up through like the neck of your clothes. It's very like awkward. You're kind of like laying half on the floor because you were on all fours, leaning down, looking through a bag. So your head is sort of shoved into your bag, but you are Arianth again. So
Araneth
sorry.
is both scared and pissed.
Yeah. So the exact thing that particular wild magic chart says is make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. If you fail, you are transformed into a sheep for 1 minute, as if by the polymorph spell. So you were in fact really a sheep too.
Oh,
I could have hit you hard enough and you wouldn't have been a sheep anymore.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, if somebody had just killed you immediately, you would have just come back as Arian.
Araneth looks a little sheepishly because she realizes she wasted her inspiration on that.
That's okay. That's the fun part for me.
And she also thinks to herself, so that's one of the things, 96. I don't know why those numbers pop in my head, but I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, to you it's like a form of OCD. Like you just think the number like 96 and then you're a sheep. Like the next time you're like 81 and like some other thing happens. Yeah, absolutely.
No, she every time she sees the number 96 now, she shudders.
Aaron, next time you do that, give us some warning, will you?
She just gives Tohan a dirty look and rises up on her broom, pissed off and embarrassed. She's a tumultuous, a lot of emotion right now, to the point where she's glowing and basically throwing off "Leave me alone."
All right, so you guys, I'm assuming now, did you still have the Kuatoa kind of in the room, which they still have somehow not noticed your presence. They're stalking whatever is down here, but you are free to leave through the west exit, unknown to them, as they failed their perception checks. They're not very good hunters either, apparently. They only caught one of these things.
All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah, Aaron is just utterly fed up with this whole experience and ready to get out of here as quickly as possible. She does not want to be in these caverns anymore.
Yeah, and that tracks too. I mean, you're an elf, you're a wood elf. You like the outdoors, you like being in the sun and the woods and seeing the wind, and there's none of that here. This is not a good experience for Araneth. This is probably worse than hell, as a matter of fact, for you.
Yeah, basically, Aaron, that's his main focus now is just to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Pretty much Juan be damned in a sense.
Throwing off the shackles of your prophecy. Yeah. Have to lock the table.
No, she mentally thinks to herself quickly. She's not giving up on her quest, but she just wants to get the hell out of here.
Yeah. It's like, all right, quest later, out of here now. Yeah. So yeah, your options in this particular cave for exit is going to be to the north or to the west.
How about north?
Okay. And yeah, all you
North.
see through here is the same general kind of low vegetation, low light areas. All right, so you guys are going to continue to the north, you said. All right. Back to this tab. Close a couple of tabs here. I'm getting cluttered again. Next and continue. All right. As you approach the northern area here, the edge of the tile, you can see that the path branches off both to the northwest and northeast. And Reggie kind of, between Reggie and the Eye of Agos, you can tell that this is a kind of a dead end room. There does seem to be noises of some sort of a scuffle coming from the easternmost room. You can hear what sounds like a lot of snarling and snapping, and the occasional kind of, I don't want to say explosion, but like a loud noise. This sounds like, you know, like a rush of air, maybe.
You go check it out.
Aranith is like, fine, if it whatever gets us out of here quicker. If it's something that gets in our way, let's just go through it.
I can just
He's
chuck
got
a
it.
fireball down there.
All right, so as you approach closer, you can see what appears to be two large, some creatures, some sort of earthen elemental creature, locked in combat with four large lizards. And as one of the earthen creatures attacks the lizards, all four of these lizards turn and glare at this earth elemental, who slowly begins to harden and becomes almost statuesque and is fighting, and pieces are crumbling off from it as it fights its way forward, and it strikes one of the lizards hard, and the lizard falls dead against a wall.
Let's nope on out of here. I don't think we need to be.
You guys backtrack, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I don't see any point in sticking around here.
Head west instead.
I just go, boring.
Alright, you are able to make your way through this next cavern undeterred. You now come to what appears to be a large mudslide that has blocks and tiles. So your path abruptly kind of ends right here. And as you look up, you can see that this is literally what appears to be just a huge pile of silt and mud that has collapsed from the ceiling above. It's a hill that stands at about a 45-degree angle, over 20 or 15 or 20 feet. Um, the slope is extremely slick and kind of really heavy, like clay soil. This is
Mhm.
Can
hard stuff to climb. This is very
I
very
I
difficult terrain.
can I use
I
mold earth?
Yeah, you could absolutely use mold earth. It's still going to be slick and slippery, but you could make like stairs or
I make
something
a
out of it.
running jump and I slide down like at surfing style, like skateboard
Well,
style.
it's going uphill. Like,
I was going uphill
yeah,
from. Oh,
this
okay, I
area
see.
here is higher than where
I
you
was
guys
reading
are.
it like I was going down. Okay, mudslide in our direction.
Yeah.
Oh. Um, is
Can
there
I?
anything like at the top, like at the ridge, like any jutting rocks or anything that we could anchor something to, or?
Yeah, it sort of overhangs a little bit where like the collapse of the ceiling has clearly like triggered some partial collapse of the floor through here as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's like kind of like this jagged sort of shale stone ledge right here. Doesn't look particularly stable though. It just looks like it's like kind of loose stone and soil sort of hanging off a
Hmm.
ledge.
I can try to make everything more like solid at the top using mold earth and a combination of mold earth and shape water and just fly everybody up.
Do you have anything that we could freeze it with?
I don't have a freezing spell.
Nah.
You could mold earth into like an escalator, and we can stand on the steps and just have it carry us up.
That's pretty dope.
I'm willing to try that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you can mold earth, you can move it too, right? I mean, you could like change
Yeah.
this, like it, just escalator.
Yeah, that's actually pretty amazing. Like I'll totally let you do that without even making you roll anything. Um,
Sick.
Yeah, I would like
Nice.
normally that I would make you guys roll like a dexterity saving throw, but we could even say that Arianth like makes like a handrail too. Like could just go up by the edge of the cavern and she just like has some of the dirt come up like so you can just hold on to it.
There's like elevator music for some reason.
Yeah. Bing ding 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 ding. Yeah. But it's like groovy elevator music. It's like it could have been a
Yeah.
Frank Zappa song if it just tried a little harder. Okay. Your exits are
Hey,
to
you
the
got to pay the bills
south,
too, you know.
south and the west.
Oh, it was a Frank Zappa song. They had to rewrite it for
Yeah,
copyright.
exactly. That yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually it. It's actually a Frank Zappa elevator music cover.
Mm,
We're just one of the many studios he worked with,
Yep.
studio musicians he worked with.
shall we go west?
Let's go with.
Seems like that's best bet.
Okay.
Better than south.
All right. As you approach this room,
There is no north.
you are now entering a huge open area. The ceilings widen out to roughly 100 to 200 feet high in the center. Like it's 200 feet in the center, and then it
Cool.
narrows down to about 100 feet along the edge of the walls. So there are sheer walls going up about 100 feet all around you. Um,
I whistle like.
you can see up high in the corners of the room here seem to be like uh not so much stairs but like a ramp that kind of goes up, but this is very elevated. It's maybe 30 feet off the ground where this kind of exit is, and farther off to the southwest you can see a series of tunnels that leads to the west and south more, and over here there appears to be kind of a plateau that drops down about 30 or 40 feet and leads to off to the west. In the center of the room is
How high does that ridge seem to be on that northmost exit?
it's if you had to guess, you'd say yeah, it was probably like 30 feet maybe to go down to get to the next like you can see that it's a ledge and like you can see that there's stuff underneath it. Like maybe it slopes up and you can kind of catch the edge of the next tunnel.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, like this part
Um,
is lower than this part. So in
it's
this
like we got to get down there.
in this huge cavern is a large pile of gleaming, glittering gold,
Huh.
several gems,
All right, where's the dragon?
trophies, and sleeping quietly among them is what appears to be a large, if a bit young, red shadow dragon. And the words above it in the Eye of Agos heads-up display start flashing in bright block letters and bold red.
Run.
Bang, 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 boss fight, boss fight, boss fight.
Do we want to try to sneak by it, or?
Is there no chance of avoiding this boss fight?
Well, he is parked right there. Oops, I should mark these before I forget. There we go. Let me grab a mini for him because I think I've got one. Oh, I don't.
We gotta have a dragon on the table.
Search. So many monsters.
I mean, if the Eye of Ego says it's a fight, then it's a fight.
Well, is the dragon awake or sleeping?
It appears to be curled up asleep.
Is that that was a red shadow dragon? Did you say?
Correct. We have to use a different dragon. Unfortunate. Apparently, the 3D modeler did not. See if we can do this. There we go. He's shadowy. Shrink him a bit. Oh, that's right. It's weird, stupid container things. The dragon coughs up several maps.
We need those maps.
Change him to a figure. Yeah, they've got him set as a bag, which means he can hold other items, which is real weird. I mean, I guess
Maybe
technically it's
if
true.
you
A
defeat
dragon
him, is that
could
what you
hold
get?
other items. Dragon. Oh,
Erin is again just ready to either go through the dragon or go around the dragon. She doesn't care. She just wants to get the hell out of here.
Well, if your eye thingy says it's a shadow, I bet if we cast a bunch of bright light on it, we can take it out pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everyone roll me a stealth check. It's probably a really
22.
good thing that you're not still a sheep, Arian.
Oh damn!
15.
Okay.
One.
So he rolled a 13 on his perception. So I think the way that this played out is, Arian, as soon as you saw this dragon, you didn't do the typical thing of crying out in fright or startled him. You literally were like, "God damn it!" really loudly. Like, it's just another fucking thing that's going to happen. And then you're like, "Oh," and like clap your hands over your mouth, and Maggie's like, "Shh," wicked loudly. And at this, the dragon stretches out.
Then you hear Erinith whisper under her breath, "Shit!"
So the dragon stretches out and rolls over and stretches its long stomach out like a cat, kind of stretching in the sunlight. And this thing, it rolls over and lets out a large kind of half cough, half snore, and tucks its head down under its rear leg and kind of shimmies itself into its bed of coins just a little bit more.
Aw.
Well, now that it's cute, we can't just kill it.
Let's just keep creeping along. Eh?
Okay. So which direction would you guys like to head?
Well,
We
I don't know about
wanted
you
to
guys,
get
but I think if we hug that wall that we're next to, like to the north of us, and just kind of see if we can go behind it and then get down that little passage.
Yeah, I know he looks big on the map, but we could assume that he occupies about a 3 square by 3 square area. Like, so he's like 15 by 15.
He's kind of curled up too, right? So
Yeah, exactly. Like right now, he's probably only occupying like a 10-foot area, but he's somewhere in this range.
yeah, he's just a little fella, guys. We can sneak by him, right?
Might as well.
Aaron.
I mean, we can prepare something if in case he attacks.
Yeah. I'd like to ready. Maybe I don't want to. Never mind. I was gonna say I want to ready Hunter's Mark, but I'm not sure I want to do that right now.
So you guys continue to creep along. I'm sorry, which direction did you say you wanted to creep along?
Northwest, I think.
Okay, so you want to try and follow kind
North,
of
we hope.
the north wall. All right, so you manage to get over to this next nook. The dragon begins to kind of stir again and rolls over and it stretches its wings, stands up for a second, spins around 2 or 3 times, sort of scoops out more of the coins, and then lays back down, closes, puts its head back under a wing.
Aaron can't help but smile and think it's
Yeah.
cute as well.
I was just gonna say I cock my head at it, sort of.
All right.
Hmm.
And you guys continue. You are continuing to the northwest towards this ledge. You get about by this rock here. This kind of looks like maybe it was a stalagmite again, or stalactite that broke off. But just some large rock formation that's right there. It's maybe 10 feet tall. Um, and just as you go by it, one of you, which among you would be the most cautious that would double check on this dragon? Do you think?
Well, who's got the highest, I guess, passive perception or whatever?
I
Is
got
that what it be, or passive wisdom? I don't know. Insight? I don't know.
I have passive wisdom, 16 passive wisdom and passive perception.
Okay.
I don't know.
So Arianth, maybe you for just a second, you take a look back because you're thinking maybe you'll catch one more cute glimpse of this dragon, and the dragon is nowhere to be seen in this pile of gold.
Uh,
Aaron uses the mental channel to fill everybody in, kind of like, guys.
we all freeze.
Might want to light this area up with some bright light.
What the hell did we use last time to do that?
I used my sword of flames, and wait, is that what I did? No, wait, I had oh yeah, the fire. Like I used produce flame, and then I used control flames, which is a cantrip to intensify the brightness, and like pointed it at the thing, and then you used something. I forget what your spell was that
Bonfire?
also like.
Did I use create bonfire and you use
Well,
something?
we had a bonfire going as well, but then you said you had a spell that could also affect the fire and make it brighter, and like so between my cantrip and you doing that, we made it like extremely intense.
Well, let's just assume that we do that again. I can't.
Yeah, what we call it, the pitch black maneuver, right?
Yep, that's right. Okay. Um, Picking up here 1 second. Right, so Arianth and Venedia, roll me initiative. Maggie and
16.
Johan, I'll get you guys in a second.
Well,
16 and 12. Okay. So as you guys fire up this pitch black maneuver, like you both immediately stop. You know something's wrong. You both go to do it. And the first thing you see when the light comes on is a young red shadow dragon clinging to the roof of the cave, opening his mouth, readying his breath weapon to attack because he rolled an 18. Maggie and Tohan, go ahead and roll your initiatives.
And
23.
So Tohan, you're going to get just a chance. You get a chance to act before this dragon's breath goes off.
I'm going to yell up in Draconic, and say, "Dragon, we have no need to fight here. But if you attack us, we will fucking slay you. Let us pass by unmolested." And then I'll rage, and
Okay.
that'll be my turn.
Yeah, so you end that with "Wah!"
Yeah.
Like,
use luck roll, so I got initiative 16 now.
okay. So you're still going to be pretty much in line with them having this light going up. So as all of this is occurring, this shadow dragon is literally like on the verge of casting his breath weapon, his shadow breath, and he stops mid like it's almost like swallowing vomit. It's not a pleasant looking experience from your viewpoint. And he begins to cough, and these shadows are coughing out everywhere. Says, "My apologies. I thought you were lower life forms. What brings you to my cavern?"
I sheath my sword.
I bring down the light to a more comfortable
Uh,
level.
Yeah, he kind of takes his hand down away from his eyes after the light's gone up, and he's like, "Ugh."
we're just trying to get out of here. We
What
got
other?
teleported to the underdarks and through some nefarious means. Now we need to get back to the surface.
The dragon kind of chuckles. He's, "Hmm, hmm, hmm. Oh, if I had a nickel every time I heard that one, yes. Well, I suppose, you'll be looking for a way out then. Well, what have you to barter with?"
Your your fucking life.
Hmm. You're a feisty little one. You're kind of cute.
I get that a lot, actually.
I like how Tohan's voice has turned into the Dark Knight. I am Tohan.
I am the knight.
Well, I'd be willing to give you the rest of the information you seek. You see, I'm quite familiar with these caverns myself. I've been around, oh, a good 60 or 70 years now. So now you kind of, knowing the age of dragons, you're sort of like, oh, he's like a child. Like, this is the 12-year-old bragging to people. You know what I mean?
Erin at that age 142 just rolls her eyes.
Says, "What sort of treasure have you got on you? Would you be willing to buy the information from me, or should we do this the hard way?"
Maggie looks at the group and says, "Give him the drow treasure."
I hold up, seeing how he's a red dragon, I hold up a ruby gem worth 5,000 gold pieces.
Hmm. Very
This,
good.
this, this will add nicely to your hoard, but we want a full map of this place.
Full map, you say? Hmm. I think we can manage something. And the dragon with amazing kind of de- um, uh, amazingly dexterous maneuvers, sort of quickly worms his way around the pillars coming down into the cavern and swipes away a large swath of his gold and begins scribbling on the floor with one of his claws. And he quickly outlines a map. This may take a second. Let's see. All of these are locked, which means I think I can do this. Yeah. Oh, I can do that for most of it. Flip them. And lock them.
Flip them and lock them. Jesus. Wait, can you hide it again?
Yeah, it's almost scarier, isn't it? Flip them. Flip. No, they don't want to flip. Oh dear. Undo.
Maybe you have to do it all in one fell swoop.
Probably, yeah. There we go. Okay. I was more concerned because they locked, and once they locked, I have to do them individually, and I was like, oh no. Look. Unlock. There we go. Yeah, it limits how many of them that I can do at a time. I don't know, memory issues probably, if I had to guess. Yep. Should be able to do just these ones. Okay, there we go. There, is that better? After about 2 hours of drawing, he gives you this.
You see, I think you missed a spot, Dragon.
Yeah, this is an incredible work of art that he's just drawn in front of you in like 2 hours, and he's like,
Meredith looks
yeah.
visibly impressed and says as much.
The dragon is immediately critiquing his own work too. He's like, it's about 5 feet wider there, and like, but this is like he's clearly got like eidetic memory.
Meredith is interested and starts talking to the dragon about the history of the area, what he knows, and anything interesting that he may have found. Just out of curiosity, she's not even trying to.
Like optional dialogue with the NPC. Any
Yeah,
rumors?
exactly. Yeah.
I heard there's a guy whose brewery was invaded by rats.
Can we just assume that we plot a course that takes us to the quickest way to the closest exit?
Well, yes.
Looks like there was one to the north and to the west.
So, so here's the thing. I may have made this map, but doesn't mean that I pre-planned a route for you guys. So, essentially, as you can see, this is a wandering ass series of caverns. They do, in fact, mostly all connect. And yes, your DM got lazy up here and just copy pasted a whole bunch of them in the same direction. But I think that's because those are ones that were inaccessible. So yes, he kind of directs you.
Like those big
Pretty
rooms
much
up
the
there.
bigger ones here, it would lead you through that. Now as to how difficult they may be to actually get through, would you like to proceed to the west or to the north?
Do
Oh,
we have
sorry.
a general idea of which one would be quicker to get to?
They're both
Just from what we can tell.
they're both pretty equidistant, honestly, because they both sort of almost from a corner, sort of there's a path west and a path east, it looks like. The dragon also tells you, he says, to be fair, I should warn you, I suppose, although this would normally cost a bit more information. Your leader over here is, like I said, he's cute. And she kind of nods at Tohan again. And she tells you that there is Drow settlement to the north and a deep gnome or Svivnirflblin settlement to the west.
I think we gotta check out the Snurfer Bliblums. Right, guys?
Aranith doesn't care. She just wants to get out. She's like, guys, let's just go.
Yeah, I think we had enough fun with Drow already. Let's go check out the deep gnomes.
The
Yeah, so the dragon tells you that both the deep gnomes and the drow, have actually modified the phase rest to suit their needs. So their cities are essentially in like a bubble free of the wild magic effects of the phase rest and free from the limitations of it. They've actually harnessed it and turned it into essentially like a magical barrier, preventing detection from like the surface world. It sort of works in their favor that way. Um, like essentially they are doing the off-grid lifestyle. So you
So
do
does it make it like a magic null area?
not magically null. It means that magic is not like it's not directly affected by the phase risk, so that they're obviously they don't want to be like working in their gnome workshops and have like shit explode more than it normally does. So,
Good to know.
let's see.
Maggie's trying to figure out a way to like, information about the Wand of Orcus without saying that to the dragon.
Okay. So I'm
Um,
assuming you're kind of trying to ask the party how to go about that on the psychic channel.
yeah, but even then, like she doesn't necessarily trust that the dragon can't access the psychic channel, so she's just kind of like,
What Aaron wonder wait, what was it? What is the demon name for it?
Wand of Orcus.
Yes.
That is the demon name for it?
I
Yep.
thought Orcus
Aaron-
was the name of the demon there.
Well, Orcus is the name of the demon, but the Wand of Orcus is what it has been referred to as. It is also, I believe, the Rod of Attrition is what it's referred to as by like celestial beings.
No,
Hmm.
Aaron just says, hold on, she's aggravated, but she realizes that she should ask. She turns to the dragon and asks if she has heard any of the demon wand of Orcus or anything of it. Or she asks Tohan to ask him.
Okay. The dragon kind of shakes their head, but has kind of this look in their eye, like almost shocked that creatures such as yourselves would know about such a powerful artifact. She says, "No, the wand lives in a bit of infamy and even dragon culture. It was once thought that long ago Orcus attempted to use the wand to control Our Lady Tiamat."
Aaronith nods and says thanks and says, "Okay, can we go now?"
Well, so now you asked like you seem to know the caves so well. You know that you know for sure that it's not in these caves. Would you know if it were here?
I think I could sense such a powerful artifact, yes. I haven't detected it anywhere in my cave system here. I do own over 40 acres, you know. I am the king of this domain. Again, just being a bragging 12-year-old.
Aaronith is just rolls her eyes again. It's like, oh my god, can we just go?
All right, let's get out of here. Let's go check out these gnomes.
All right, so the dragon stretches, curls back up in its pile, and he says, "Fare thee well, great adventurers." Goes back to sleep.
Easy, nice.
Surprisingly nice shadow dragon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Pretty cool.
Aaronith nods her thanks to Tohan through all of this and just starts booking her way, keeping pace with everybody on her crew. Flying slightly above everyone's head just so she can try to get a better view of everything coming up on them.
Okay. So we will say that you guys are able to make your way pretty effectively past most troublesome encounters here. Back to my encounters page and see if there's anything that I missed. All right. Someone roll me a dice. Any dice you choose. Let me know if it's
Okay.
odd or even.
Hang on 1 second.
That's one.
Odd. I got odd.
Heard odd first. So somewhere's around. Oh, I don't. Hopefully that's all of you. Somewhere's up here where the path branches. Do. You come across a kind of huddled over short, not so stout creature, who quickly spins around as you approach, and lets out a slight yell of "Nah!" And you see that he's wearing a pile of beast furs, just various sorts of fur, which you haven't really seen very many furry things down here, so you don't think that maybe he's from around here. As he sees Ariant flying on her broom, he quickly lights a torch. He says, "Back, foul creatures of the dark! Quailin Silverthread is not afraid of you." And you can see he is an elderly gnome. Not a Svivnirfnirfnirblin, but a regular gnome, a surface, or, still an underground gnome, I suppose, but like the type of gnome that live in hills near human communities, not the type that live miles underground that really need a tan.
Aaron, says, "Hail, stranger. We mean you no harm."
Ah, stay back, I warn you. I'm a powerful warrior. And as he says this, he's like trying to stand up from where he was sort of crouching over, and you hear him go, "Oh,
Aaron,
my
just start.
back."
I keep
starts
walking toward
muttering,
it and
"Oh,
I
for
say, no,
fuck's
you're not.
sakes."
Says, "What purpose have you had with me? You followed me
And
here."
it's just like, she's like, "We don't care about you. We just want to get out of here."
Oh, yes, well, I sympathize with that greatly. I seem to have lost my way. I was, oh dear, this is embarrassing. I'm not wearing my usual attire. You see, I was headed to the city of Blingdenstone. It's a deep gnome city near here. Do you know of the Svimnirvnirvnirvblun?
I think we've heard of him.
Ah, yes, well,
God bless you.
they are not to be trusted, he says. They are a very crafty race. Cousins of us good gnomes. They dwell in the deep, and their
Oh boy.
artifacts that they make, pure evil. My town, and he lowers his voice and begins to whisper. He says, "My town had an encounter with a group of their kind, and we believe that they're planning a raid on the surface soon. They sent me here as a spy. I need to find
How do
out
we
what
know
their
you're not
plans
just a
are."
racist?
Says,
You're not a
"Well,
very good spy if you tell people you're a spy."
well, yes, but you seemed like trustworthy folk."
Aaron just looks at him like, "How close is your way back to the surface?"
Says, "Well, that's part of the problem. I thought I was almost at the city here, but I seem to have lost my way. You don't happen to
We
know
have a
which
map.
direction it is, do you?"
We sort of have a map of the entire area here.
"So, may I see it? It would be most helpful."
I mean, you can look over our shoulder at it.
Well, here's the thing is that I imagine that the Eye of Agos probably transcribed the dragon's map to your HUD map. So when you tell him you have a map, he's like looking for a physical map, and he's like, "You don't have a map. I don't see a map."
Maggie's the map.
Let's put it this way: we're going that way, and I guess you can follow us, but if you're a pain in my ass, it's gonna be a big mistake for you.
Can I use minor illusion to create a, an area of the map for the gnome to figure out what he's doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So you literally just kind of transcribe again into like this illusory, like little sparkly, glowy map in front of him. Um, and
Cool.
he looks at it for a moment. He says, "Ah, yes, I was headed the right direction. Okay, very well. Yes, it looks like we're on the same path then. Well, that's excellent. Oh, I should probably don my disguise now." And he quickly spins his hands in a brief motion and utters a few nonsensical gnomish words. And he is quickly transformed into the very visage of one of these deep gnomes. And you see the differences in his face. Whereas before he had these kind of rosy cheeks and like this kind of adorable upturned button nose, he now has this crooked downward kind of hooked nose, and his cheeks are sunken. He's much paler and ashenly, um, and he just looks sullen now instead of looking happy. Essentially, um, he he says, "You know, can't be too careful. I don't want everyone finding out that I'm a regular gnome. I hear that they don't care for our kind. A bit a bit on the dodgy side, if you ask me." Well, very well. We should probably be off then. No sense in hanging around here.
All right. Sounds useful to have a deep note.
Sorry, you're kind of cutting out there.
I said, sounds useful to have a deep known looking dude coming along.
Mhm.
So you guys are able to head west towards the city of Blingdenstone. The entire way, Quaylen is discussing at length his spy mission, and it seems like it is literally the most boring spy mission ever. Like he's just supposed to go there and kind of blend in and check things out and then report back. It's not any, he doesn't have like a specific mission, it's just reconnaissance. But he is very excited about it and will answer any questions you have about the infiltration that he is seeking.
Aaron impatiently asks, now that he's seen a map, how close is his exit back to the surface?
It says, "Oh well, it's a ways away. I had to sneak through the cavern of the Drow to to get down here."
She just mutters under her breath, God damn it!
Fucking drow.
All right. That's probably not a bad spot to kind of leave off because Blingdenstone I have to get out another book for. So, and it's actually a pretty cool setting, and also it's our nice entryway into the Rage of Demons campaign, which is pretty cool, and it actually transitions our campaign kind of full circle back to the surface world. So I'm hoping I can figure out how to kind of intertwine everything. It should be fun.
Hell yeah. Sounds cool.
Yeah, it's a combat-free session tonight. Wow, I didn't have to track initiatives. One set, that's it. Just to make sure that you guys didn't get killed by a shadow dragon. And
Ironic.
honestly, you probably could have soaked that damage and killed him in like 2 turns.
Oh yeah, it felt like it.
It's ironic that Tohan was the one that kept us from fighting too.
Yeah, that is ironic, right?
Very true.
Yeah.
Murder Lizard
Yep.
prevented violence tonight.
We'll never live it
Go
down.
murder. I really wanted to go murder hobo on the fucking night hag and the man bear pigs there, but
That was
Oh,
literally
Aaronith was ready. Aaronith had no qualms. She didn't care either way.
that was pretty much what they were there for. I don't like at a certain point I need to fill a mega dungeon. I'm like, okay, random generator, let's go. Give me monsters. I just set it to 4 members at level 12 and go to town.
I mean, Maggie would have been down, but you know, she was like, "Hey, I already converted an army of orcs. Why not a night hag?"
You know, well, sometimes not only discretion is the better part of valor, but just common sense. Like, well, we're trying to get out of here. We could stop and fight everything, or we could just get
Right.
out of here. Yeah.
Like this night hag's not the one holding on to the wand of Orcus. I can tell you that much.
Yes, but who knows what lies in the hands of other creatures of the Underdark. Also, as a quick announcement, I'm super excited because I don't know if anybody read it online. It's all the rage of D&D news, but the newest
Spelljammer?
announcement is Spelljammer has been
Yeah,
released. Um,
Nice.
that's
so
awesome.
just be aware there may be some spacey, wacy, timey-wimey stuff going on in your future.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
Because as soon as that book comes out, I will own it. Because I was a huge fan of the old second edition Spelljammer stuff. I never
Yeah,
got a
same.
chance to actually play it. I just read all of the crap that my uncle had when I was a kid. So
Nice.
It's
Cool.
all set in the astral plane now.
yeah, I've heard they made some changes to where they modified it so it's not quite as complicated. Because before it was like you had like this. You could travel between planes. You could travel between crystal spheres. You could travel into the phlogiston, which is like a weird alchemy term from like the 1300s. And yeah, it seems like they simplified it in the vein of 5th edition, which is good because lore
Yeah.
is great. Too much lore is just, it's bloat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that one was more like the Hall of Doors or something, like you could just open a door and be somewhere else.
Yep. Well, and that, yeah, that's kind of the purpose that that sigil is used for too, all throughout D&D, because it depends on if you're looking at it as like planar travel in like the, I guess spiritual sense, or if you're looking at it as physical travel in the sense that like you're traveling to another physical planet, which is kind of like what Spelljammer is all about. Like it's really like it ties together various worlds that have happened in D&D. Um, like for example, Kryn, the world that Dragonlance takes place on, that's like a planet that exists in D&D space.
Oh
So like
shit.
you can literally fly to Dragonlance planet. You guys happen to be on Forgotten Realms planet. You could also, so theoretically, Dark Sun planet exists somewheres, but they don't know how to get there. That's what the canon says. That's dumb. They
Huh.
should reprint Dark Sun next. Um, and
They put
then
out
I
some.
still got
They
that
put out some.
second edition DM book for you, Zach.
oh, cool. I will gladly accept any donations of Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Yeah,
I'm a
They
I've
put
patron.
out some
been
good.
carrying it around for years.
Well, it
Yeah.
got really quiet.
wow, there's like new spells and shit. That's crazy. So all this is gonna show up in D&D Beyond, I assume.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
you
soon as
gotta
I
buy
get
in the
as soon as I buy the
Scarecrow.
book for it. Yep.
Yeah.
I can
Hmm.
pre-order it now, but the book itself I don't think is available until like June or July, which is
Hmm.
but oh well. What were you saying, Nick, before?
I said Dark Sun put out a lot of good fantasy novels too.
Yeah, like it's a very dark fantasy world. It's like post-apocalyptic D&D kind of.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
there's
it's
a lot more like you can play like a psionic and stuff like that.
yeah, magic was different there. Instead of magic existing as like a weave, the weave had been like sundered essentially. It was like worst case scenario for magic, and you had what were called like builders or something like that, and then you had like takers. So all magic used life force essentially. So you had people that would drain creatures of their life force in order to perform like magic, and then you had other people that would like just take enough life force from like maybe themselves or their friend to perform like a healing spell or something like that. So and magic was like taboo on the whole world. Very cool world. Um,
And I think like addictive too, like
yeah,
other magic.
yeah, it was like a drug. It had a lot of elements, the same type of elements that like Shadowrun had, where like there was some very adult content. There was a lot of like slaving and stuff going on, which is I think why they're kind of shying away from it with the whole modern like race issue thing that's been brought to light. They don't want to like step on the wrong feet of say the wrong words and piss everybody off, I guess. I don't know. Like it's fantasy to me. Like if there's bad guys that take slaves, that's up to the heroes to save them, and that's good. I don't see why that's a bad plot point ever. Like it's a thing to talk about, brings up critical thinking.
Yeah.
But
I guess the possibility
Indeed.
of it becoming a platform for people to role play it in a
well, that's the
different
thing
direction.
is being
Yeah.
being a multi-million dollar company, they have their own agenda, which is to continue to be a multi-million dollar company, and by by providing that avenue, I think that yeah, they would be possibly opening themselves up to all kinds of just
Unfortunate attention.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, like the type of shit that they want to stay away from. So I get it. But still, it's a very cool world. I love that like Mad Max-esque aspect of D&D. Yeah, so Spelljammer though, that's going to be really cool when, you know, we figure out which which planets the Wand of Orcus might be on.
Oh my god.
Maybe you guys will find it before then. I hope so. It'd be cool to like wrap up the Forgotten Realms setting and then as high level characters, like maybe like level 15 characters, to move on. Because Spelljammer is an incredible setting for high level characters because there's so many high level bad guys in it. Like I don't want to give away too much of the lore to it, but like yeah, like there's things like beholders and mind flayers that work as entire pirate crews.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's bad guys are OP in Spelljammer, and it's awesome for me as a DM. All right. Yeah. I guess I will see everybody next week if that's cool with everybody.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
And hopefully by then I will have had a little bit of time to put together the Blingdenstone map and come up with what needs to happen there.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Awesome. I will see everybody next week.
Yep. Good night, guys.
Have a
Good night. You guys, everyone have a good one.
You
You
too.
too.
See y'all.
The cookie monster.